What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I get these steps in this morning. I want to talk to y'all about this clip I saw. It was a woman. She was calling into a radio show, basically confessing that she cheated on her husband. Okay, let me get over here and get this glare out of the way. She had been going to the gym. She met some trainer. This sounds predictable, right? About how it's gonna go. She's going to the gym. She met some trainer. They're working together, and if you want to call it that, they start, flirting, seeing each other outside of the gym. And then they decide that they're gonna, meet up and, have a bit of an affair. So the husband ultimately found out that they were seeing each other, but he didn't know that, she actually, was intimate with him. So she calls into the show to confess this, and she wants advice on whether she should tell her husband or not. So right out the gate, this sounds just really silly to me, because this is some secret and you're calling into a radio show. Somebody who knows you, somebody who knows your husband is likely going to hear this, right? I don't think she gave her name, but people, they listen to these radio shows. In his case, his is video as well. But still, many people listen to those shows. I've seen plenty of instances where somebody called into one of those shows, and that basically was them outing themselves because somebody recognized their voice. Somebody recognized their situation, their circumstance sounded familiar, and that's how they ultimately got caught. But she does what she does. The husband finds out about her, seeing the guy, but not about them being physical. She convinces her husband that it hasn't been anything more than that. They just were talking, flirting, went out for a cup of coffee or something like that. So she's reluctant to tell him because I guess things have gotten better since then. And so she doesn't want to really tell him because, she's afraid that it's going to stir everything up again. And the radio host, I'm not going to say he was pandering, but some of the stuff, it was in the realm of pandering, because he tells her, how brave she is to come on there and confess. I disagree with that. I don't think going on a radio show to tell the public about how you stepped out on your husband behind his back is in any way, shape, or form brave. It's not stunning. I think it's even more disrespectful because you're embarrassing him. So as if it already wasn't a crow sandwich for him to learn that you were even entertaining another guy. He now has to learn that if she's going to tell him, he now has to learn that you were physical with him, which that's definitely not going to be a good feeling once he learns that. And then he also has the added effect of you called in to a radio show and told everybody first, essentially, before telling him. That's going to humiliate him. So I don't think what she did was brave at all. And quite honestly, if this were a man calling into the show with the same situation, guys typically don't have female trainers. It does happen. But let's say hypothetically this were the situation in reverse. I find it doubtful that he would have told a man, this is brave what you're doing, calling into the show, confessing to us instead of talking to your wife about it. I just don't believe he would have kept that same energy. So it's just interesting to see how much differently women are gauged and oftentimes coddled in situations where they are flat out in the wrong. Now, what you did was wrong. There's no doubt about this. What you did is wrong. And he's still trying to like coddle her. Now, he did say some things. In fairness, I'm not going to just make it seem like he was just simping for her the whole time. He wasn't. In fairness, he did hold her accountable at other points of the conversation. Like it was around Thanksgiving. And she was kind of like not wanting to tell him about it, really, because she didn't want to ruin Thanksgiving, her words. And, he said to her, like, listen, you already ruined Thanksgiving. By doing this already, you already ruined Thanksgiving. So get a sitter for the kids or something and plan a time where you could talk to them. You don't need to really worry about Thanksgiving because that's already ruined. He's like, Thanksgiving is going to be a sore time of the year for y'all, for a while. Like that's going to be a thing. It's gonna may not be permanently, but the next few years for sure, Thanksgiving is going to be a sore subject for y'all. And he was like, the gym is too. The gym period. That's there. That's gonna be a sore topic. So he did hold her accountable to a certain extent, but it was definitely noticeable, the things that he said to her, that you're like, there's no way he would have said this to a man. Because men are held with their feet to the fire. If a man is doing something wrong, he gets, ridiculed, deservedly so. But nobody's trying to like spare his feelings about, what he did. Make him feel like what he did is bad, but it's not as bad as it could have been. And no one does that when you're a man. So I thought that was a very interesting thing. So she claims she's going to tell him. She says she went looking on Google and whatnot first, and basically on Google, stuff that she was reading on Google was saying to never tell him. Some people were saying, they've been married for decades and never told they did this and they never told they did that. And so, she was kind of leaning towards that stuff. But I mean, if you're looking up Google for this sort of stuff, you're not usually looking for unbiased, opinions. You're looking for things to support what you already want to do, what you've already made up your mind about. If you've already made up your mind that you're never going to tell him, you're usually Google searching just for other people who did some stuff and didn't want to tell and never did tell. It's not usually, trying to get anything meaningful. You're looking for confirmation bias, if anything. So I wish that I could find an update to that, because I really am curious if she actually did tell him and how that went, because that definitely was something. It was a bit, it was a bit Real Housewives-ish. She's like, she's fit, she goes to the gym, she had a male trainer. She never really gave a reason why she cheated on him in the first place. Not that there is a good reason, but she never said, like the guy was neglectful or abusive emotionally, or so this leads me to believe that this was your typical nice guy, and she was just getting bored, so she decided that she would step out on her. Because please believe, if he were at all a jerk, she would have highlighted that. She would have led with that, because she would have been trying to justify her actions, as bad as they are. She'd have been trying to justify them with, oh, well, he does this, he does that. But since she never said any of that stuff, that leads me to believe that this is a really solid guy, solid husband. They got kids together, solid father. And she was just getting bored and decided to do some for the streets type behavior. And now the end result is, you know, she's like tortured behind her decision. She, you know, her conscience is eating her up. She probably did tell him, because one thing I did get from her is that she seemed like her conscience was really, really kicking her behind. So she probably did go ahead and tell him. I guess we'll just never know how that ended up going. But you guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what y'all think about this. I'm definitely interested in the comments about this. If you guys have had similar experiences, let me know all about it. Thumbs up this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon. Peace.